Hey guys, this is just an update to my Lightbox videos. When I originally shot these videos, Lightbox was an older version, and at that time, its requirements were this prototype and scriptalicious JS. These are called dependencies. So Lightbox was using functions within these two libraries to get the overlay effect. Now, the latest version of Lightbox has changed a little bit, but pretty much implementation and everything that's in the video is the same, except for one part. Instead of utilizing prototype and scriptalicious, the newest version just uses jQuery. So from a certain extent, the big difference between what you see in my videos and what you have to do now is what JavaScript files you link to. Everything else is the same, maybe with the exception of some of the files you find within there, but just going to give you a brief overview to make sure we're clear here. So first order of business when you use this Lightbox is that you do not link with the you do not link to prototype or scriptalicious. Instead, you just copy and paste the two lines of code that it has over here. The first that links to jQuery, this one is 172, and the second is that actually links to the Lightbox JS file. Everything else is just the same. Now, the other thing that may be different is what files you get when you download Lightbox. So I just to make sure that we're on the same page here, here's the latest version of Lightbox at the time of this recording, which is 2.5.1. And what we have here is the CSS, images, and JS folder. Really, these are what we need to put into our files. Now, within the CSS folder, we're just going to need the Lightbox CSS. Now, let me bring up my web project over here. So again, this is what my project looks like. I'm going to take that Lightbox CSS and just pop it right into my main folder. Now I don't want to use their screen.css because it's going to end up overwriting my custom one, and really their screen.css is only specific to the example that they give. Inside of images, there may be some different images, but just take all the images you find and dump them right into your images folder. The paths and everything are going to work, stay the same. Finally, the JS, you have a couple of documents in here, and just pop them all in, and here you go. Now, what I did to update my project was just that. I just took these files in these three different folders, the CSS, images, and JS folder, and I popped them in here, and I went into my pictures. I'm not using Dreamweaver right now, I'm just using a plain text editor, and this is the old one. I went from this over here to this over here, and that's the only change I did. To update my page, and the result is, let's see, here we go. I have, this is the original, and then here is the copy that I updated today, and as you'll see, the new version functions just like the old, except it's new. And that's the only change. So anyhow, I'd say one of the good lessons to learn is that no matter how you learn one thing and then the next time you go to the plugin that you want, it's updated. Well, good plugin makers, I call this a plugin because it's a JavaScript plugin. Good plugin makers or good coders, when they update things, they don't do drastic changes to it because you want people to be able to update easily. So if you're using a very common plugin, you should really take it from that perspective. Although there's an update and something's changed, ultimately it should be relatively subtle. And if it's not, you should start questioning even using that plugin because maybe the author hasn't implemented it with best practices and you may have issues down the road.